I started meditating, I was filled with anxieties, filled with fears, kind of a depression and anger. And I took this anger out on my first wife, and after 2 weeks of meditation, she comes to me and she says, "What's going on?" And I was quiet for a moment because it could have been any number of things she might have been referring to. But I finally said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "This anger, where did it go?" And I didn't even realize it had lifted. Now, these negative things like anger and depression and sorrow, they're beautiful things in a story, but they're like a poison to the filmmaker. They're a poison to the painter. They're poison to creativity. They're like a vice grip. If you are super depressed, you can't hardly get out of bed, let alone think ideas, have that creativity flowing. So it's money in the bank to get that beautiful consciousness growing, which is flowing creativity, the ability to catch ideas at a deeper level. Intuition grows. This field is a field of pure knowingness. You dive in there, you sort of just know how to go. You know how to solve solutions. It's like an ocean of solutions. And you can just feel this thing growing. But the ultimate thing for me is the enjoyment of the doing, the enjoyment of life grows huge. I love making films now more than ever before.
TM is like you have a cell phone and someone gives you the charger. And you go, "Oh, this is, now I can keep using this thing and it will work all the time." So the other way I'll describe it to you is, and I can see from the faces who does it and who doesn't do it, by the way. The other way I will describe TM to you is, do you know how 3 days a year you get a good night's sleep? And you wake up and feel like, "Oh, this is how I should feel all the time." But you can't get more than 3 good night's sleeps a year because of the circumstances of your life. Well, TM, you can have that every day. That every day you're just, the bar on the cell phone is all the way up. You leave the house and the charger is full. You know that tremendous feeling of power when your phone is fully charged? And somebody calls and you go, "I want to hear every detail of this story. I am loaded with juice." That's what TM is. Anything you want to ask me about TM? I do it, and here's the other thing that's crazy. Okay, here's a crazy TM thing. Well, look, I'm only getting 5 hours sleep as it is. I'm not going to get up earlier than that to do TM. It works. It's better. You'll feel better sleeping 4.5 hours and doing that 20, because that's deeper than anything you're getting. When you're sleeping, look at your bed when you get out of it. What does it look like? It looks like a war went on in there. And that's not restful. All you did was stop. And you took the fight from your day into the bed. But you're fighting all day, you're fighting all night. You need a break, folks. You need a break. That's what TM is.
Brought the Transcendental Meditations into Harpo Studios to teach me and my team how to meditate. So we started meditating. 7 of us. 7 led to 70, led to 270, led to now everybody in the company meditates. 9 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the afternoon, no matter what's going on, we stop, we meditate. And that way of being still with ourselves, coming back to the center and recognizing that something is more important than you, it's more important than the work you're doing, it's more important, brings a kind of energy and an intensity of energy, an intention that we've never had before. And you can't imagine what's happened in the company. People who used to have migraines don't. People are sleeping better. People have better relationships. People interact with other people better. It's been fantastic. So the one thing I want to continue to do is to center myself every day and make that a practice for myself, because I am 1,000% better when I do that. 1,000% better when I take myself back to something bigger than myself.
Anyway, so I learned how to meditate. I've tried to meditate before, and the breathing and all the other stuff that when I did yoga, and I was always opening my eye, and it was like a minute later, and I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? This is just impossible, focusing on the breathing. And so when I learned about TM, which I'd heard about it, and I'd heard so many people, I was very impressed by the people that I learned that they did TM, and I was like, well, they're interesting people, and there must be something to it, and I thought I'll try this, even though I'm not good at meditating. And something about TM, something about having that mantra, it is the only time I have that stillness. It's the only way I've ever been able to sit long enough that I open my eyes and I'm sad that it's 20 minutes later. I actually love, and I never had that feeling before, late at night alone at an ATM machine, but that was not safe. But it does. It gives me this peaceful feeling, and I just love it so much, and I talk about it as much as I can on the show without sounding like I'm preaching about it. But I am here really I can't say enough good things about it. It just really is a beautiful experience.
Years ago, when I was doing Andy Kaufman, I learned how to meditate, and it's been very valuable. It's been around for a while, but I mean, I think on a widespread level, it's being picked up by everybody now. It's being understood as something more than some kind of religious, nutty thing. It's a system of teaching yourself how to get into a state of relaxation that affects your entire life and the quality of your life. And I do it. I've done it for a while, and I recommend it highly.
And so I learned, and it was exactly what I needed. And the thing that blew me away the most about it was that it was the easiest thing that I'd ever done. Not the easiest meditation, but the easiest thing I have ever learned. I learn a lot of things. That's my job. You know, I go out there and I learn it. I'll spend months learning something. And this took me an hour the first time. And it's also what you get out of it. The fact that it's so simple to learn, it's so simple to practice, and yet you get the amount of restoration that comes to you, the benefit across your life. It has changed everything. I just had my family and my boyfriend's family meet together for the first time over Thanksgiving, everybody in my apartment for 5 days. And let me tell you something. It can benefit relationships. And I got them all to learn. So it was the most dynamic holiday I think everybody had in the best way, because everyone all of a sudden had this new tool that they never had before with dealing with this sort of moment that could possibly be a little stressful. And instead we all sat and meditated with one another every morning for 4 days. And it was beautiful. It really bonded everyone, and it was really a special time. So also the thing that I love about TM is that it's not something, you don't have to convince somebody to believe in something. You don't have to get them to understand a different faith or a spirituality. TM is helping you tap into something that's already inside of you. That's you in essence. And that's something that I think that was super empowering for me once I really grasped that, is that it's not just something that you go outside of yourself to obtain and then bring back into you. It's actually the deepest part of you. It's the part of you, it's this part of you that exists that you've never had the tool of opening and accessing. And so to have that tool now and to be able to go inside to the deepest part of myself and to access that and to recharge my battery internally within myself, I feel so badass.
Now, you've been into yoga for years and you also meditate.
Yes.
So what are some of the biggest changes that has brought to your life?
You know, it's kind of not one thing you can point at or put a finger on. I just can tell you that I feel it's like a kickstart for your day. Mm-hmm. It just centers you, and your stress levels are just down. And you find yourself interacting in the world much easier and better, and in a calmer way. And there's just a peaceful joy that sort of comes over. And I don't know how or why, it's no rhyme or reason. And I just know that if I If I go through a phase where I slip off and I'm not as religious with it, I feel the difference.